Alright my fellow agents, welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and with so many new and returning players jumping back into the Division 2 either for the first time or after taking a very long break, one of the most commonly asked questions I get is what is the best way to farm for loot in the game? Now if you've been at this channel for a while, you already know my philosophy. I never want to waste your time, so the short answer to that question is just play Countdown. That's it. That's all you got to do. So if you happen to be a day one player and you are familiar with that game mode, please do not waste your time watching this video. You already know exactly what I'm about to say. But for those of you who happen to be new to this game mode or you just need a quick refresher, that's exactly what you're getting today, because Countdown is still easily the most efficient way to farm for a ton of loot in a short amount of time. Now, as always, we're going to jump right into the details, and if you happen to enjoy this, do me a favor and hit that like button. It truly helps the channel out, and if you want to stay up to speed on all things Division, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button as well. So for those of you that may not know, one of the major benefits about playing Countdown is the fact that you can choose your targeted loot anytime you want, which means if you're looking for a certain weapon type, a piece of gear, brand set, gear set, whatever it may be, this is still the most efficient way to farm in the game without a doubt. Now, another question I receive from new and returning players is how do you farm for, let's say, the Ninja Bike, St. Elmo's Engine, the Catharsis, Memento, Coyote's Mask, whatever it is. And the good news is that any exotic that is in the general loot pool you can possibly get by farming Countdown. You just want to set your targeted loot accordingly. So to give you a quick example, let's say if you're trying to get the Memento or the Ninja Bike, you want to choose Backpack as your targeted loot. And always remember, this all boils down to luck. You're going to hear from people saying they got it right away or after 2 or 3 attempts. Other people, they've been trying for months. And while it may be an insane grind to get something you're looking for, some of these exotics are definitely worth it. And of course, I wish you nothing but the best of luck. Now, once you've chosen your targeted loot, the next thing you need to do is find a group. You're going to scroll over to Matchmake and you want to select Challenging or Heroic. Now, in my opinion, and please let me know your thoughts in the comment section, Challenging is the way to go when it comes to matchmaking for Countdown, and the reason I say that is for a few reasons. First of all, you're going to be able to find a group much faster than you would on Heroic. And secondly, and this is just from my experience, and again, let me know yours, I've never really seen that big of a difference between the quality of loot between Challenging and Heroic, and the entire point is to get to the very end and face the hunters. And when you're playing on Heroic, things can get sideways really quick because the NPC are much tankier, so you wind up having a group and people wind up bailing, and it totally sucks. You don't make it to the end. Again, that's the entire point. So once again, in my opinion, Challenging is the way to go. Now, once you load into a round of Countdown, you will then be divided into 2 subgroups. You can see on screen, my group is at the very bottom of the page. The second group is at the very top, and ideally what you're going to do is meet in the middle of the map. Now that means the group I'm in is going to make our way to the closest countermeasure to our location. The other group is going to do the same thing, and then we're going to meet at that middle one, and at that point we will then move as a group of 8 to complete 2 encounters, which will then unlock the main objective. And one thing you'll hear from a lot of players is you do not want to do the VIP encounter. The main reason for that is because it just takes much longer than the other one. So if you can't avoid it, try to do so. And even if the group decides to go to the VIP encounter, it is not the end of the world. You don't need to bail or yell or freak out, whatever. You're still going to have enough time to get everything done. Now at this point, I want to go over a few important details that for new and returning players, you want to be aware of before you jump into this game mode. First and foremost, when it comes to your build, one of the most important details is to make sure you do not equip hackable skills, because if you're putting on, let's say, the assault drone, the assault turret, the stinger hive, something like that, when you get to the hunters at the end, they can hack it, they're going to murder everyone around you, and that totally sucks. Do not be that player. Trust me when I say there are people who are looking at the actual loadouts you roll in with, and if the group leader happens to see something they don't like or gets them a little sketch, they can easily give you the boot. So don't put yourself in that position. I will circle back to this at the very end of the video. Now, the next thing I'd like to address really quick is when you're doing the encounters and the main objective, pay attention to the detail of what you actually need to do to complete them. There are so many times I'm playing Countdown and I see people running around, they're worried about their kill count, but they're not actually doing what needs to take place in order to actually advance past it. So for those of you out there who are new and just returning, be the hero, focus on whatever tasks you need to complete. You can see on screen, my job is simple. I'm going to make sure I pull the levers when I need to and going to hit different switches, stuff like that. Not worried about my kill count, that doesn't matter to me. All that matters is that we get to the end of the round of Countdown, take out the hunters, get all the loot, extract, and then we're good to go. Now, the other thing I want to address really quick is when you're running in a group, you want to have situational awareness, meaning you need to be aware of the other players around you. You do not want to block someone's line of fire. You know what I mean? Like there are times where you see someone shooting and all of a sudden someone else comes in front of them with a shield and you're blocking their fire. That's not a good thing. You know what I mean? And things like this can make a major difference in regard to how quickly it actually takes to clear one of these rounds. And obviously, the faster you can get through them is always going to equate to more loot in a shorter amount of time. Finally, today I want to address something that a lot of players don't think about, and that is your inventory management before you jump into Countdown. Now, in my opinion, you want to have at least 50 spots open in your backpack. If you don't, there will definitely be those occasions where you get so much loot you wind up needing to do inventory management as you're playing, which totally sucks because then you got to decide what you want to keep, what you want to get rid of. There's action still going all around you. Once again, don't be that player. Come in prepared, my fellow agents. Hope this thing helped you out, and as always, questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know and I will do my best to get back to you as quick as I can. One final thing I'd like to mention as I leave you with some gameplay footage and commentary is that you do not want to fire the flare for extraction until the timer hits about 10 seconds, because that way as the NPCs continuously come down from the helicopter, you're going to continue to get some loot, which obviously you want to keep doing. That is all for this one, my fellow agents. As always, I want to thank you all for your incredible continued support. Please let me know of any other questions you have I did not address. Thank you once again for the privilege of your time. And as I mention at the end of every one of these, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone. Don't you love the fact that I say, hey, make sure you have enough inventory space? I rolled in with 51 spots and that still wasn't enough. So again, plan accordingly, my friends. Don't be like me. Now, one thing I failed to mention in the video is the fact that the other major benefit about playing Countdown is that when you clear a round of Countdown, you're going to get Countdown resources. With those, you go to the Countdown vendor. You can buy a bunch of different caches, so they can be exotic caches, name caches, things like that. And as you can see on screen, it took, 14 minutes, 45 seconds to clear this round on challenging, just using random matchmaking, no microphones needed, nothing like that. So in about 2 rounds of Countdown, you'll have enough to buy an exotic cache and hopefully get something you're looking for. The last thing I want to mention really quick is please make sure you take your time when you're going through your inventory. Mark certain things you want to keep as a favorite right away. That way you don't accidentally delete them. Then you're going to mark everything else as junk. Do whatever you need to do with that. The last thing I want to highlight in this video is that sometimes when you're using matchmaking in the game will actually put you as the group leader, which means you're the one who needs to start Countdown. Now, once you see that indication in the bottom right-hand corner, all you need to do is go over to social. Once you do that, you will see a prompt that says Start Countdown. Do it as quick as you can because people get jumpy, you know. All right, my friends, that is it for this video. I do want to give a quick shout out to Peter and Allie for your incredible support. Really appreciate it. I try to do this as often as I can, you know, leave people different messages, stuff like that. And I know some of you out there get tired of my saying how much I appreciate you and how much building this toxic-free gaming environment means, but guess what? I'm never going to stop saying it, so if you don't like it, you can leave. How about that? How about them apples, people? Huh? What are you going to do? What are you going to do, huh? You gonna take off? No, you're not. No, you're not. Just get out of here. Anyway, thank you all for everything. What is this alarm going off on my phone? What do we got going? Oh yeah, I gotta get shit done. Anyway, appreciate all of you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.
Left the group. Safe area detected.
Good to see you, Agent.